Good morning, everyone. Mr. Speaker, at its core, human trafficking is a crime that thrives and profits off of vulnerability, off of insecurity, and off of our youth. It is a crime that comes to affect us all, no matter what city or town we happen to live in. It is becoming the most lucrative business for organized crime because, as was said many times in this House, you can sell cocaine only once, but you can sell a young girl over and over again. Human trafficking presents one of the most pressing challenges to our way of life, a new pandemic, if you will, and it is up to us as legislators to rise to the challenge to fight it. En tant que député provincial de Mississauga Centre,
as a member for Mississauga Centre, I participated to a roundtable with many stakeholders in my community, but also in other parts of the province. We shared a passion. We wanted to protect Ontarians against human trafficking. For instance, I had many occasions to collaborate with the Women's Federation of Canada and the CEO, Shelley. I also worked with other stakeholders. Trucking industry is a key ally for our government if we want to fight human trafficking. They have a deep knowledge of highways. They know about the current conditions. Truckers Against Trafficking in the United States is having a great success. They give tools to truckers in order to recognize human trafficking and call the authorities. Furthermore, they have hotlines. They received more than 2,000 calls at the beginning of the year 2000. They were able to signal 600 cases. In Canada, many organizations like Women Against Human Trafficking Canada do the same thing. They're able to recognize the early signs, and then they offer resources in order to alert the authorities. This saves lives, Mr. Speaker.
To those who think they are witnessing trafficking in progress, I implore you to call the Canadian Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-833-900-1010. That's 1-833-900-1010. I also want to speak a little bit about two other allies in my community that I've had the privilege of working extensively with in my time as member of provincial parliament. Peel Children's Aid Society plays a crucial role in the community, working with families to ensure the health and safety of children and youth. And this mandate is no different when it comes to the threat of human trafficking. They have been a leader in both Peel and Mississauga when it comes to preventing our vulnerable children and youth from falling prey to traffickers. My Mississauga colleagues and I recently met with Peel CAS, and this is what CEE Rav Baines had to say, and I quote, "Peel's Children's Aid Society is pleased to see the Government of Ontario taking a stand against human trafficking and strengthening protections for vulnerable children and youth. We see the devastating consequences of this heinous crime on our young victims and fully support measures aimed at prevention and prosecuting those who exploit children." Quotes like these both inspire me and motivate me, and they show the good that's possible when a government for the people listens to its partners in the community to tackle important issues. Maintenant, Monsieur le Président,
now, Mr. Speaker, I would like to talk about changes. There are two new laws that will reinforce our fight against human trafficking. This is the best that Ontario has to offer. It shows a deep collaboration between ministries. They had to tackle complex issues. This bill will help the government in many ways. First,
the government's response to human trafficking by emphasizing the simple fact that all Ontarians have a role to play in combating this crime. As my work with community groups and stakeholders has showed me, everyone has a role to play in knowing the signs of trafficking, reporting suspected trafficking to authorities, and supporting survivors. Because it truly does take a village, Mr. Speaker. This bill will incorporate more community stakeholders because a crime of this nature that affects us all has also be combated by all of us. Second, this bill will strengthen the ability of our children aid societies and our brave men and women in law enforcement to protect exploited children. One of the most disturbing facts about human trafficking in Ontario is its disproportionate effect on our children, with the average age of recruitment into sex trafficking being 13 or even 12 years old. This is nothing short of a tragedy. Our plan focuses on equipping those who protect our children with everything that they need to do their jobs effectively.
Thirdly, this bill will support survivors. This way, we will be able to have special orders against traffickers. This is especially true for Indigenous survivors. They live in different circumstances than people who live outside of those communities. Children and Indigenous children and women are disproportionately affected. This is the case in Ontario. In this way, we want to keep on finding solutions so that Indigenous communities are well served. Four, this bill will allow us to collect data. This way we can understand more the situation. We want to make sure that our strategies remain efficient. If we have key parameters, we will be able to evaluate the work that we do against human trafficking.
Will empower law enforcement with new tools to both locate victims and charge traffickers. This is so crucial to ensuring that perpetrators of this crime are held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. Survivors and victims of this crime want to see justice served. We hear them loud and clear. Mr. Speaker, and we will make sure our law enforcement has the ability to do just that. Monsieur le Président, je veux terminer mon temps.
Mr. Speaker, to conclude, I would like to reiterate that human trafficking is a very complex issue. We can feel the effects in every community. As the Associate Minister said it before, human trafficking isn't limited to a specific geographic area. It's a crime that occurs everywhere. It's a crime that affects low-income and high-income people. It has an impact on the most vulnerable people.
That I am part of a government that is pledging and committing itself to doing whatever it takes to fight back, to take a stand against this despicable crime. Though the road ahead will be difficult and challenging, we, along with our community partners and our brave law enforcement officials, will be there to rise to the occasion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you.